Good morning, everyone. So I wanted to have a very quick chat to you about this practice of ghosting. Many of you know that I ran my challenge last week, and obviously we had a lot of dialogue, and a lot of things came up that I don't normally talk about, and the practice of ghosting came up. And I'm sure that you have been at the hands of this practice at some point in time. So I want to give you my viewpoint on ghosting, and hopefully it can inspire you to look at it from a different level. So first of all, there's two types of ghosting. One is when you send your CV in and you apply for a position and you never hear anything back. Now, because of the volumes we're dealing with, I can almost condone that type of ghosting, if that makes sense. It's still good to hear back, obviously, but if you send your CV, you haven't really done much beyond submit your CV, and if you don't hear, well, it is what it is, kind of thing. The second type, which I think is far more, I don't know what word to use, dodgy, is when you've taken the trouble to attend an interview, be it at a recruitment agency or be it at a company. Good Lord, you have spent your time and your effort preparing for and showing up for that interview, not to mention your travel time, not to mention your preparation time. The very least they can do is pick up the phone and give you some personal feedback as to why you were unsuccessful. Now, what happens with these kinds of situations is either you won't hear at all, or you'll get an automated sort of generic response that says, we regret to inform you that your application for X position was unsuccessful and wish you everything of the best in the future. And now that doesn't help you as a job seeker, because you think, well, why was I declined? And why can't they have the courtesy just to pick up the phone? So what I want you to do is take a step back. And this is what I talked about in my challenge last week. First of all, you are a person of value, and you come to the table attending an interview as a person of value. And if you are party to this practice after you've shown up for an interview, I believe you've got every right to go back to the company and say, I'm sorry, but your practice of ghosting me or of sending out a generic decline letter is not acceptable. I took the trouble to show up at your doorstep, and I made the effort of making myself look good, preparing for the interview, driving to the interview, and the least you can do is you can give me some feedback on my application and tell me why I was unsuccessful, and talk to me personally as one individual person, not as a generic group that you're declining. So that's my challenge to you today. If you have attended an interview and subsequently been ghosted or treated as a number, look at yourself as a person of value. You are worth more than that. Pick up the phone, talk to the company and say, this is wrong. What you've done is wrong. And I truly believe that the more of us that pick up the phone and say, no, this is wrong, we need to call people out on these practices. It's not acceptable. So pick up the phone, call them out, and ask them for personal feedback. You don't need to be rude about it, but I believe it's your right. So that's my challenge to you today. If you've been ghosted after an interview, pick up the phone, call the people out, and ask for that personal feedback. All the best for those interviewing. My name is Chantel Buerta. I'm a recruitment coach and strategist. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Have a marvelous day.